Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the student interview. My name is Angelina Chen, and I'm the Chief Communications Officer at the Steamboat, which is an organization focused on giving youth opportunities and the technology for their future careers pertaining to STEM-based fields. And just to note that this meeting will be recorded for social media purposes. And to start off, please introduce yourself. What's your background story, your name, and your age?
Okay. My name is Sarah Alfonso, and I'm from South Sudan. I'm 19 years old and in grade 11. At the moment, I reside in Tanzania. I study at United World College East Africa, that's in Arusha, and I'm studying the IB Diploma Programme. That's a little bit about my education. I studied in Uganda. I was a refugee there. So I almost spent all my life in Uganda, but then I'm originally from South Sudan.
Wow, I'm part of the IB program too.
Whoa, that's great.
And just as of right now, what would you like to pursue as a career in the future?
Well, a career for someone who is curious minded like me and has a lot of interests in various things, it's really hard to choose something that I will live and do for the rest of my life. And so it has always been like a problem for me choosing what I want to do. But I think one thing that I really did know that I loved was the STEM science, a lot of biology and chemistry. And initially, I wanted to become a doctor. But with time, I realized that my kind of personality, I love to do things that will enable me to like stand in front of people, do a lot of public speaking and stuff like that. It's possible in the medical field, but I wanted something that is going to engage me more in a global sense, not only maybe in one side of study. So I want to study environmental science, and if possible, I want to double major with nutrition and dietetics because I'm so passionate about, I always lecture my friends about what they should eat and how they should eat, stuff like that. And I also love to keep my environment clean, and environment issues, like it's one of the most sensitive issues right now. The carbon emissions are going above average. And so I want to be able to address these issues. Um, I am applying a delegate program whereby delegates will be sponsored to go for COP28, which is going to be in November to December. So I am I'm so happy, and I want to really be able to be the voice for those who are unable to speak. Like in basically the low developed countries, we face a lot of issues of climate, like a lot of issues associated with climatic change. A few days ago, I think it was Wednesday, we had a very too much rain in Arusha, and my Kiswahili teacher, who has been here for like 20 years, said she had never witnessed something like this. Almost the entire school was flooding because there was a lot of water and people could not step on grass. All you can go is through the pathways. So I think that is something that is an if climatic change. It's like if the rain had continued any further, the school would flood, and this destroyed a lot of crops of crops of the locals. And because I grew up as a farmer and my family loved farming, I see this is something that is going to affect the food security so much. So I want to become a voice for Mother Earth, to be able to advocate about and help activists, because the issues of climatic change is really something that is destroying our earth. So that is that part. And nutrition, I want to be a nutritionist because in my country there is a very high rate of malnutrition, and this year it's estimated that it is going to increase by 13%. And for me personally, I think that something that is affecting the children so much. They're not able to get the nutrition or the feeding that they need. So a part of that sector is going to help me be able to involve with my community and help the underprivileged like myself who have been growing up and lived with less. So I want to be able to advocate for the climate and also be able to help people with their nutrition and their feeds and stuff like that.
That definitely makes sense. And I love that you're advocating for everything you're passionate about.
Yeah.
As your career, of course.
Sure.
And this leads on to my next question. As a student, what are some current issues that you're passionate about? And tell us about anything that you're interested about and why you think it's important.
Well, things that I'm interested in. First of all, I love singing and I do sing a lot. I also write music. And secondly, I write a lot of stories, fiction. I am currently working on a fiction, and it's basically about I imagined a dystopian world a few years from now when the 1.5 temperature range that is caused due to carbon emission is surpassed, like what are the effects going to be? So I tried to imagine it as something that is going to like create a very high damage to our community. For me personally, that the novel I'm working on might try to, it's a bit scary. It might, I don't know, maybe lead to people like maybe having some kind of opposition to it. But for me, I feel like it is a way how it's a way for me to express myself on my thoughts of when the carbon limit is surpassed. Like I am Christian. I believe in God, and I also believe like in creation. So I believe that in the beginning, when things were all created, the earth was sustainable, everything was okay. But due to industrialization and all the uh, activities of man, we see that carbon dioxide that is being emitted is not like it's more than the carbon dioxide being taken in by plants, and also trees are being cut without replacement. So all of these are things that are affecting uh, the environment. So with my talent as a singer and also as a writer, I feel like it's my way of expressing myself. I express myself in writings, and also I am so passionate about speaking. I love to like have stand in front of people and speak. So I feel those are my ways of expressing myself, and every chance I get I make sure that I use it and express myself and point out all these issues that are affecting people. um Yesterday I was talking to my dad, and he was in a refugee camp, and he was showing me the place and how it looks like. And I was only imagining that there's some people in this world that live in very good buildings, concrete buildings. Even if there is a flood or something happens, they won't be affected. But there are people in refugee camps who are down to the dust. Their buildings are not that nice. It's not well sheltered, and they're struggling to live. So an environmental change that causes maybe a strong wind or something like flooding in the place, a very heavy rain, it's going to displace these people and affect them so much. So to me, these are things that I'm interested in. These are global issues that I feel need to be addressed. And I feel like I can be the voice to do that because I know how it feels like to be in such a situation whereby you're helpless. You can't speak. No one is there to like listen to you. But since for me, I have the chance to be in an international school where I have access to talk to different people who may be in power as well. I feel it's my chance and it's my responsibility to speak out, and it's something that I'm very passionate about and I'm willing to do.
That is so admirable for sure.
Thank you.
And And I really, really hope that you achieve your goals.
Sure.
And and I also understand that you founded an organization which revolves around empowering women in STEM. Why did you decide to start this organization and how is it going so far?
Well, the organization that I started, it was basically about mental health of women, and I didn't have a very big way of like launching it. So all I did was start up a creative writing CCA, like a creative writing co-curriculum activity in school, whereby all this whereby those that are interested in writing write issues that are related to women health. And there was a time I was applying for Rise. It's a global organization whereby it also provides funding for projects, but I didn't get to complete it because of the situation at that point. But I still feel like it's my responsibility because I was born in a refugee camp and I lived a life of a refugee, and I have seen how people get traumatized because of these issues. So I feel like it's also my responsibility to be able to help people overcome mental health. And also one big issue that I have seen in my country is that girls basically like they're not so confident in themselves. They are not so confident in pursuing what they believe for their dreams. And it's basically a stereotype that girls are not able to go ahead and study things to do with sciences like the STEM related, basically like biology, chemistry. Girls are seen as weak in those areas. But personally, for me, I don't think so because I love the STEM areas more. I love to study biology, chemistry, physics. I love math. So I feel like everyone can be able to make their dreams come true. If it's a doctor that they want to become, they should be able to dream that big and be able to get the chance to become who they want to become. For me personally, I think lack of money is not, it's not a barrier at all. We will always be able to go a step further if we really want to pursue whatever it is that we have put our heart to. um I applied for Yale Young Global Scholars. I don't know if you know about that.
Yeah, I
It's
did.
at Yale University, and I got in. Basically, I got into the politics, law, and economics. It's a social science, um, and I just like it's something that is interesting because I really felt like I wasn't going to, I didn't have any chance of actually getting in because the acceptance rate is so low. So that that to me shows how much you can achieve by putting your heart into something that you want. If your goal is to become a scientist, if your goal is to go to the moon, you just have to put your heart into it. And it's something that I feel every person or every girl out there in a low developing country that hasn't been able to get the chance to explore their dreams needs to understand. So as a lady, as a woman, and as the fact that I'm coming from such a country, I feel it's my responsibility to be able to push my friends who are back, who are behind, who don't, who feel like they can't pursue their dreams, to be able to go a step further and continue with their education and pursue the dreams that they have. So the organization is basically working on enabling women to be able to fight for their dreams, be it in a STEM or in arts. But whatever it is that they're passionate about, they should go for it because nothing is a barrier to your dreams. You're the only limit.
That's so true. And the inequality between women and men in the job industry as well in STEM is very significant. And
Yeah,
I, as well, empowering women in STEM is very important,
sure.
especially these past few years. So, what is so important about bridging the gap between gender inequality to you?
Um, gender inequality is something that is stereotypical. Like, people always have the stereotype that women are less. And it's something that I personally don't believe in. Like, as I said, I am a Christian, and I believe that God created us. And the first person that was created was a man, and then the woman was gotten out of the rib of a man, and a rib is on the side, it's not on the feet or anywhere. So it's basically means we are equal. We just have to be able to respect each other the same, like the same amount of respect to be given to, like, both sides. Women are basically emotional people and emotional beings, and they take things to heart, and they are basically emotional. So any sort of saying or anything that is being pushed towards them, like if you keep on telling them that they're weak, they receive it at the end of the day, and they take it in and feel that they're weak, and that is basically not it. No one is weak, and especially women. We should not be fighting for the fact for a ground whereby we should all be the best. Like, we should all fight for that ground of being equal. But I feel we should just respect each other and be able to give each other equal chances in every position. And we should, because we all have abilities to do great things. There's some things that men can't do and women can do. So I feel it's basically about working together and being able to consider women as people who can contribute greater things to the society. I have tried doing some research, and I found out that most of the countries that are being led by women are very peaceful. So that to me also shows a leadership ability of women. They're able to lead a country and be able to put their heart into it. They actually take the country as a mother, like they take it as their child, and they the mother. So I feel like women are very good leaders, so they should be given equal chances in all positions in the society, because they can also do great things. And that's what I can say about that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I wish more women had the opportunity to do so. And from the forum, you mentioned a lot about environmental issues that you're helping out with. What are some projects that you've helped with or you took charge in?
Um, During my project week, I think if you're studying the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, there is always a project week. So we went to Dar es Salaam. It's a city at the coast in Tanzania, and we were working with a company called The Recycler. Basically, the company deals with recycling materials like glass materials and papers, um, and also they use the food materials that are collected from markets to make proteins. Like they grow like worms. They grow worms which are used for to feed domestic animals. So to me, the mom, like, seeing all of that and how they use these waste materials was really something that was amazing. And then we made it a point to like connect with them and continue the project, because the project week was for only 1 week. And then we started to continue, we continued the project even right now in school, so that we can be able to reach out to many local schools around Tanzania, that will so that they can know the importance of recycling. And also we are connecting the company with those schools so that they can be able to like come and pick trash from the schools. So basically that is the project we're working on. I am working on with a friend of mine. She's called Doreen, and she's also very passionate about the environment. We also got a chance to meet a lady. She is called Laurel Kivio, and she's a climate activist representative at SADC, South African Development Countries. and she's a very powerful lady. And she shared with us her story of how she became an environmental activist despite her parents wanting her to become a doctor and stuff like that. And it was so amazing. And it's so good to be in that situation whereby you are dealing with issues that are facing that current issues that are facing mankind right now. The environmental issue is one of the top in the list of things that are facing the earth and facing uh, our population basically. And for me, like, if we don't deal with this situation right now, we're going to have to answer to our children, like children or grandchildren, this next generation. We'll have to answer to them why we spoiled the atmosphere, and they will have uh, to suffer the consequences for it. In the story that I'm writing, it's a fiction that I'm writing. It just a little preview is I tried to make it seem like I ignored the climate issue. A few years from now, like around 15 years from now, I ignored the climate issue, and it reached a point whereby there was no oxygen in the atmosphere. There was not enough oxygen. And so my child, okay, my future child, something like that, died because of that issue. And I kept on blaming myself for it. So I feel like I want to prevent that issue. I don't want it to reach a point whereby carbon dioxide is too much in the atmosphere that we are unable to deal with it. I want it to be a situation whereby everyone is happy. Environment is not an issue. We don't have to answer to our next generation about why we spoiled the environment due to industrialization. And right now, as we speak, deals are being signed, things to do with extracting crude oil, and which are going to be used obviously in cars and things like that. And this is something that is increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Despite environmentalists talking about it, uh, people still feel it's right to sign deals that are going that deal with actually spoiling the increasing the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which is something that is not good at all. So to me, basically, I feel like we should all be activists for the environment. the I feel like the environment is talking for itself. We are seeing signs, flooding, things to do with a lot of heat. Sometimes seasons are changing. Like in my country, we have two seasons. One is dry and one is the wet season, whereby for use for planting. So you find farmers, because there are not many educated people, they basically depend on farming to be able to survive. So a farmer can plan to plant in the rainy season, but then you find due to the changes in the environment, there is no rain anymore. Whatever they have planted has died. Or maybe they plant and then there is too much rain and then all the crops are destroyed. So all of this is like creating a lot of changes in the in our climate, and it's affecting the livelihoods of very many people, especially those that are doing agriculture and stuff like that. And also in my country, recycling issues are very much like, I have tried looking, but I've not seen any recycling company in my country. So it's something that because I'm so passionate about the environment, for my uh, for my summer break, I have decided to challenge myself to start up a company that is going to basically deal with recycling, so that all the waste that are in landfills can be put to use, and also can be like the country can remain clean as well. And then the other project we're working on is Plant for Life. It basically deals with planting trees. Uh, Tanzania is a semi-arid area. There are some places whereby there are no much trees. There are savanna plantation grasslands. So we're planning to start planting trees, things like that. Though it's not yet concrete, because it needs a lot of funding to be able to buy those trees and all of that. So that is also a project that we are planning to work on with my friend Doreen. Yeah, so we have decided to work together, despite us being from different countries, but we feel working together is going to bring more impact, because it's like countries coming together to be able to solve a certain issues that are dealing with the climate.
Definitely. Your work is very, very admirable. And I
Thank you.
hope that startup company happens.
Sure.
And how do you plan on spreading awareness on this issue pertaining to environment and helping this cause?
I want to use my talents for that, basically. I can sing and people love music, so that is definitely one way I'm going to use. And I write a lot of poems and I love reciting poetry. So I also post some of them on my social media accounts. I have some of them on my social media accounts so that I can be able to spread awareness even in the smallest way that I can. And also I want to also go for COP27. COP28, which is going to happen in November to December. I feel that is like one of the biggest platform that I can be in to be able to spread awareness about this issue, to be able to bring people down to earth to understand the feelings or the things that we are going through. Some of us who are from low developed countries, how the environment is like affecting us. So that is also another way that I'm trying to work on spreading the awareness. And also I tried creating a website where I'll be putting blogs and to just showcase a lot of my writings so that it can be available for the public. I feel like even if not many people listen to whatever it is that I am doing, there's that one person who will read it, who will read my poem or listen to the song, and then they will also go and tell someone, and slowly but surely it's going to be like a connection, one person to the other. Whatever you hear, you tell it on to the next person. And also the summer project, the summer program that I have, the summer program that I have that I want to like use my summer for, which is recycling and setting up a company. It's going to be a little bit tricky and hard, but I want to go to schools, like secondary schools, basically, where there are a lot of youths. I want to go and like be an inspiration to them, talk to them. I feel like for me, basically, youths have been my inspiration. Those who are my age mates and have done great things. I feel like I can also do something like that. So I feel if I go to them and talk to them and be the inspiration, they will actually take on the climate issue as their responsibility as well to advocate for it. Find it's so connected. When the climate is not good, there is not enough food, there is food insecurity. We also find that the issue of malnutrition also increases. So all of these things are connected. So I want to be able to go to schools and talk to them and be able to start up with student organization, and also want to start up I want to start sustainability committees in schools. Like in my school we have a sustainability committee, and they actually calculated the amount of carbon dioxide that is being emitted uh when you take a plane. So we have this in school whereby you put $5 every time you take a flight. Though you can put more, but $5 is like the minimum. So you can put $5 in the fund, which is going to be used for organizations that are working to and dealing with the climate issue. So I feel those are some of the ways I'm going to use every little chance I get. I will educate people and talk to them so that I can be able to reach out to them and they will also reach out to other people so that we can be able to change this situation. And also, one thing I have noticed is there's a lot of ignorance about the climate issue. The climate issue is all people who know about the carbon emissions and all of this stuff are people who actually get access to internet. They're not these people in villages whereby they don't know anything. They think that burning, maybe cutting down trees is fine because they are going to use it for maybe cooking and stuff like that, but they really don't know the effects of this. So they need a little bit of education, someone who will go down to their level and talk to them in their language and make them understand that the disadvantages of cutting down trees. And since cutting down trees to make charcoal is the only way they can be able to get energy to cook, I think educating them on ways how to like replace the trees that have been cut down is also something that is amazing. Since we find most of these people are farmers, being able to educate them will help them to plant more trees, and because they know the effects of cutting down the trees, planting it will be something that they will willingly do. So I feel like we should go down to their level and talk to them. And personally, with my experience being a refugee and living in a very low developed country with a very low standards of living, I feel like I know how to approach these people and talk to them in my language and make them understand these issues. So I want to go both ways, to talk to those who are in big positions and also those who have been forgotten and people who don't actually know the effects of all these climate issues. So those are some of the ways that I'm planning to be able to, advocate for climate and be an activist.
Definitely. Advocation is very important, especially for the environment and next generation too.
Sure.
And lastly, there are a lot of students who are watching this meeting. What would you like to tell them as a student advocate and student yourself?
Um, as a student, you have a chance to make your dream come true. You should not be static. You should not actually go for that career that everyone wants you to go for. You should go for that thing that sparks your soul and you can give actually your all to it. Like for me, an issue of environment and food nutrition really makes me happy when I'm able to do something to be able to save the environment, or when I'm able to help a friend or a neighbor to be able to eat rightly. So as a student, you should go for your dreams, what you're passionate about. You should never do something that you are doing to impress the society. Do something that will give you satisfaction and love for your interests. And also, never let lack of money or financial status be uh hinder you from being able to achieve your dreams. I can give an example like myself. I study in a school, it's an international school, whereby my parents will never afford with even their 10-year salary. So, and I have a scholarship. So you can get a scholarship. There are many organizations out there that will help you achieve your dreams. Just focus on what it is and the global issue that you want to be able to make a difference with. You will always get a way to be able to shine, and always know that you're unique and you have a lot of talents. Just embrace them. It doesn't matter what people think about your talents or who you are, but embrace who you are and always be the person that believes in your roots and do what you love to do and not what people want you to do, basically, as a student. That's what I
Definitely. And this actually concludes our interview. Do you have any questions for us or regarding this?
I don't have much questions, but thank you very much for the interview. And I feel like this is something that is really good. It helps reach out to many students out there that are also that are feeling that have feelings of low self-esteem and are living in different places and feel like they can't achieve something. But from my story, I have lived a life, I am living a life that I have never dreamt of. I never thought I would study even in an international school. But then things do change with time. Our situations will get better. Just have to believe and everything will be fine. Thank you very much. And you should continue doing the work for interviewing different people. It really helps inspire someone out there who is struggling to believe in themselves.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking into finding more people from different countries around the world. And
Sure. Yeah, I'll also try get some people who can apply and, tell their
yes,
story. Yeah. I think it's because I live in a diverse community. I have like over 70 something countries in my class, and we interact together, and you find your story is so different from someone's. Maybe someone has been living in a highly luxurious life. They have no idea of what suffering is. There's someone who has been living in war all their life. There's someone who has been in a refugee camp. So all of us are diverse. We have different stories. So when all these stories come together, they make the inspiration that the world needs in order for us to move on. And that's how we're going to try solve some of these global issues. Thank you.
And thank you. It was so amazing to talk to you and learn about your passions and backstory.
Sure.
And this concludes the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
great week.
Sure.